Hey guys! So we are going to do something a little different today, and we are going to feed all the carnivorous plants. So I have a few new additions that have joined the family since I did my fly trap video, and we are going to get to know all of them. So let's start with what we're going to feed everybody. So these are freeze-dried mealworms. So they're a really good source of protein, and that's what we're going to use to feed everybody. Now, you could use, if you wanted to, you could use live bugs to feed them. So you can see what these guys all look like in there. So you could feed them live bugs, but I choose not to for a couple of reasons. So the big one is that I'm feeding on such a small scale that it doesn't really make sense for me to have, you know, a ton of live bugs around. And the other thing too is it's very easy. Live bugs can sometimes chew their way out of the traps and out of the plants, and it kills them. So I don't want to mess with that. And personally, I just find it kind of easier just to use the use the dried ones. So we're gonna take a look at all the different plants first. We're gonna get some mealworms prepped, and we're gonna get everybody fed. So let's look at the pitcher plants first. So that is these guys, and also this one, this real big one over here. So pitcher plants, the way these work, and they're like the fly traps. They come in all different shapes and sizes. Basically, the way these work is that along their edges here, so along the edges here and here, they secrete kind of a sweet smelling nectar almost that attracts bugs. And what happens is the bugs kind of get attracted to that scent. They come over, they check it out, and they end up falling in, and they get stuck down in the pitchers. Now, the same way that when we eat food, our stomachs make stomach acid that helps us digest our food, these guys make kind of their own version of that that helps them with digestion. So if we look, we're going to come take a look at this guy, which is a good example. So if you look around the rim here of this pitcher, you can see how it's kind of moist. That is that real sweet fluid that they create that attracts bugs. And then if we take a look inside, let's see if we can see it. There's a dead wasp in there. So a wasp came to check them out, decided it wanted to grab a taste, and then met its doom. So something that's really important with these pitcher plants, so with these as well as these guys, is that you want to make sure that they keep liquid in their pitchers. So if they don't create enough on their own, you supplement it with a little bit of water, and that helps them out. So they need that liquid to be able to digest. So we have the fly traps that we're familiar with, and I just got this new one. It's looking all big and menacing and munchy, ready for some bugs. And then this very cool plant in the back. So we're not gonna feed this one today because this one's a little bit different, but it needs a little more time to settle in, and then we will get to see this one in action. So this is a Drosera. So the way this guy operates is all of these little tentacles you see, they end up forming all these tiny little drops of dew on them. So similar to the liquid in the pitcher plants. And this attracts bugs, especially gnats. These guys love gnats. And the gnats get stuck in that sticky liquid, and then the plants eat them. So basically any insect that gets stuck to that is going to become dinner. So this one just got here, and it's still getting comfortable, so we're gonna leave that one be for the time being. So let's get some bugs prepped. Now, what you want to do is, basically we want, the rule of thumb with fly traps, and really with the pitcher plants as well, is you want something that's about 1/3 of the size of the trap, because you don't want something too big, because if it's too large, it's not going to be able to close around it. So we're gonna go smaller the better. Let's see what we got in here. I have a lot of big ones, so I have to search for something small. Let's see. There we go. There's a tiny, tiny little piece. Let's see. A couple small ones here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to rehydrate these. So I do this for the fly traps. I don't need to do this for the pitcher plants, because the pitcher plants are already going to have liquid in them. So that makes that pretty easy. But the fly traps, it gives them a little bit of help with digestion, especially since these are freeze-dried. Gets them a little bit damp, and it's almost like it's like we're making worm spaghetti. So I'm just picking out a couple here that are appropriately sized for our fly traps. And what I'm going to do, let's see if we got anybody else. I think that looks good. We're gonna feed one each to each of our fly traps. So what I'm gonna do is take a little bit of the same water that I feed the fly traps and just put it on the bugs. So I'm gonna give these a couple minutes here just to kind of sit and rehydrate, just so they're not, this way they're not so crunchy for the fly traps. So I'm using distilled water, which is the same water that I use when I water all of the plants. So carnivorous plants are really picky about their water. So they like distilled water, so it doesn't have any minerals or anything in it. Nothing that can bug them. All right, in the meantime, so we're gonna give that a couple minutes to soak. And in the meantime, let's feed a couple pitchers. So let's see. Let's feed this guy over here. So all we gotta do, just drop it in. Easy as that. And it'll sink down in there. It's got liquid in the trap, and it'll start digesting it. So let's do the same for our little guys up top. So I'm gonna pick out a worm. Again, in this case, I'm gonna break it down a little bit so it's a little smaller, so it's a little bit easier for the trap, since these pitchers are a little smaller. So what I'm gonna do, very carefully, oop. It's hard to film and do this at the same time. There we go. Now, what I'm gonna do, since this pitcher doesn't have any liquid in it, is I'm gonna add just a little bit of distilled water to help it out. So that gives it a little bit of liquid. You can see, actually through there, you can see the bug in there. All right, that guy's got a meal. Let's get a meal for this guy too. So same thing, I'm gonna grab a little worm and breaking these down so they're not so big. Okay, then we're gonna go drop it in. So the pitcher plants don't have the same action that the fly traps do. The fly traps are the only ones that are gonna move, but these guys will enjoy their meal nonetheless. All right, let's feed some fly traps. So I've got my bugs here. All right, these are all liquefied and ready to go. So let's pick our traps. I think, let's see who looks hungry. I think this guy looks nice and hungry. Ready? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our bug, I've got right here. Gonna get a better grip on it. Come here, little bug. This tray is also full of water, so I'm not making this easy on myself. There we go. So we're gonna place this inside, and then I'm gonna activate those inner teeth that we talked about that triggers the plant to know dinner's here. So ready? I'm gonna put that in there, and then it closes. And just like that, first fly trap's fed. Now let's feed this guy. So, same thing. I'm gonna grab my little bug here, and then we're gonna come in, activate that trap, and it's gonna close around its dinner. Isn't that so cool? All right, let's feed this big guy next. So this guy is a little bigger, so he gets a bigger worm. So here we go. Well, he doesn't seem to be hungry. Let's try another trap. That one does not seem to be hungry today. Let's try this one. Well, for some reason this trap seems to be not very hungry today. Let's try. We've fed this one before, so let's see if this one wants to eat. Well, 2 out of 3 is not bad. Last one decided it didn't want to cooperate, but that's okay. I'm gonna try it again off camera and see. So each one gets 1 bug, gets fed about once a week or so. You don't want to overfeed it, so gives it just enough to get some nutrition and then goes from there. So, but hey, that one you can see now that trap is all closed up tight around the bug, and so is that one there. It interlaces its teeth across there, like you can see, to make sure the bug can't escape. So with that, everyone is, for the most part, all fed. Got a bunch of happy plants, and then one very happy pitcher plant over here. So let me know what you think, and if you have any questions, let me know. But thanks for joining me for a feeding today.